You are a Roman gladiator, and the strangest part is this arena day is not your life. This arena day is the rare test your whole year has been protecting. Dawn comes. You eat, you drill, you get rubbed with oil, you wait to be marched into the loudest place in the city. People picture non-stop slaughter. Rome was managing expensive fighters, not throwing them away every day. This blood sport was famous for killing. It still worked hard to keep trained fighters alive and usable. Morning, noon, and judgment all look different once you know that. Breakfast changes meaning. The matchmaking changes meaning. Even mercy changes meaning. Morning starts in the ludus, the training school, not the arena. You wake in barracks. Breakfast is barley and beans. It is exactly the sort of sensible meal movies leave out. The point is simple. You need calories. You need enough weight to cushion blows. Your body has to take damage and heal. The famous gladiator build was not shaped for beauty. It was built to take punishment. Their skeletons show unusually dense bones. That fits hard drilling and long recovery. So the morning is wooden weapons, repeated footwork, weapon checks, baths and wound care. You are looking at a brutal training camp with the medical room attached. The normal day was maintenance, not combat. Maintenance sounds less dramatic than constant fighting. Rome did not care. Rome cared about getting a trained body to the next show in one piece. The baths helped recovery. The drills cut stupid mistakes. The heavy diet built the bulky look audiences expected. Even your shape was part of the brand, which is bleak. Food and baths are still the cheap part. The reason is obvious when you see what your owner loses if you die. A second-century legal valuation puts this in plain numbers. Renting a trained gladiator for the day cost about 20 denarii. Getting him killed or permanently ruined could cost 1,000. One afternoon of spectacle was one price. Killing or ruining the performer cost about 50 times more. So the baths, drills, and careful feeding all had one job: keep you rentable. The owner of the school wants trained fighters to survive. A dead fighter is lost money. The sponsor wants blood and noise. He does not want to lose a fortune every time a blade lands. Hiring the fighter is the easy bill. Killing him is the disaster. Once the gates open, the fight has to look savage without becoming pure luck. You walk in during the procession. The gear is bright. The crowd is roaring. The whole display shows off what the sponsor paid for. Then comes the pairing. This is not random chaos. A net fighter faces a heavy shield man. A Thracian faces a Murmillo. The point is clear matchups and easy-to-follow tactics. The crowd can follow the action. The editor can judge it too. Referees stand in the arena too. Pop culture almost erases them. They matter. They enforce the rules. They stop fouls. They break up ugly tangles. A fighter can lower his shield. He can raise a finger. That signals surrender and pauses the action for judgment. The fight was supervised. A refereed fight feels very different from random slaughter. An imperial professional probably fought only 2 or 3 times in a year. 2 or 3. Picture a champion boxer making rare, expensive appearances. One afternoon carries months of preparation. All that drilling and recovery existed for this one appearance. Then the fight turns.
One clean wound, one stumble. One man is still standing and one man knows he is beaten. Movies teach you to read this as automatic execution. Often it was not. A defeated fighter could receive missio, formal mercy. If he showed skill and courage, the crowd could want mercy. Then the sponsor could spare him. Mercy sounds noble for about 3 seconds. Then money enters the picture. A proven fighter with fans is worth money next season too. Pompeii left graffiti cheering individual gladiators by name, the way people now argue about athletes online. People had favorites. People remembered styles. People came back for stars. Dead stars are worth much less. Even the risk was lower than the myth says. In Nero's wooden amphitheater, a whole recorded year passed with 0 fatalities, even including condemned criminals. In some periods, a professional's death risk was closer to 1 in 10. Sometimes it was lower. That is not the automatic death sentence people imagine. Still brutal, still terrifying, just controlled. Rome turned violence into a business, then built rules to protect the performers. If the crowd wanted blood but the business wanted survivors, which mattered more in the end? Roman cruelty or Roman accounting? Amandus makes the point feel human fast. He belonged to the imperial Neronianist school at Capua. He came from Placentia in northern Italy. He died in Corduba, in Spain, at 22 years old. His epitaph says he fought 16 times. 16! Faustus came from Alexandria and fought out of that same Neronianist school. He died at 35. His monument was raised by his wife and a fellow gladiator. His total was 12 fights. That is a whole career, not many arena days. Then there's Ingenuus, an Esidarius, a chariot-style gladiator from the Galatiani school. He died at 25 with 12 victories. 12 wins sounds glorious until you count the empty space around them, all the drills, all the waiting, all the days when the whole job was staying ready. The arena day feels huge for one simple reason. It may be one of only a few times you ever do the thing people remember. One gravestone says 16, another says 12, another says 12 victories. Those numbers show these men were not fighting every week. A whole career could fit into a dozen or so arena days. The honest answer is that this varied a lot. Condemned criminals were not protected like trained professionals. Provincial shows may have been rougher than the best documented imperial venues. Death rates changed by period, class, and place. The exact thumb gesture itself is still a mess in the sources. So there was never one neat rule for every arena in the empire. But the non-stop daily slaughter myth falls apart once you look at the details. Training schools cost money. Heavy feeding cost money, medical care cost money, referees, surrender signals, and mercy all slowed the rush to kill. Many careers were measured in a dozen or so bouts. For many professionals, the arena was not daily life. It was the dangerous public test that justified everything around it. So when you picture a gladiator, do not picture a man dying every day in the sand. Picture the dawn before it. Picture the drills, the baths, and the waiting. Picture a body being kept just healthy enough to be spectacular later. A Roman gladiator was built for rare public days. He was trained for a handful of violent appearances. He was kept alive as long as Rome could manage it.